Welcome to the implementation overview. How we set up the evaluation. The first thing we ask you to do is identify two similar ability classes, so either 2 Year 2 or 2 Year 3. You will then complete the pre-assessment spelling test with both groups. The What Work Teachers platform will then randomly allocate one class to the intervention and one to the comparison. The intervention class will use the strategy over the next 5 weeks, and the control will continue with business as usual. Both classes will then complete the post-assessment test, which is the same as the pre, and the data is entered into the What Work Teachers platform to generate an impact report. If the strategy proves successful, you can then deploy this into the comparison class. So let's look at this from a step-by-step approach. So step 1 is identify two similar ability classes to participate in the evaluation from the same year group. Step 2, identify 40 challenging words from the National Curriculum Guidance. These will be introduced by 10 new spellings a week over 4 weeks. Select 20 words to use as a pre- and post-assessment task. Step 3, complete the pre-assessment spelling test with both classes. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder, and then input this pre-test data into the trial wizard. Step 4, the What Work Teachers platform will then randomly allocate classes to either the intervention or the comparison group. Record this in your Excel tracker. Step 5, for the intervention class, deliver the targeted intervention. Use your professional judgment to decide the frequency, such as daily, weekly, and log this in the process evaluation. The comparison group will continue with business as usual for the duration of the trial. Step 6, complete the post-assessment spelling test, which is the same as the pre, to both the intervention and the comparison groups. Record the marks in the Excel tracker located in the resource folder and input this into the trial wizard. So the intervention, it focuses on Year 2, Year 3 pupils. It's delivered by a teacher. It can be set as homework, and it'll take approximately 10 minutes per session. The intervention is the look, say, cover, write, check, which is a method of learning spelling where children study a word, say the word aloud clearly, paying attention to the spelling, cover it up with a piece of paper or their hand, write the spelling next to the original word, check their version to see if they got it right, write the correct spelling again if necessary. And this version of the strategy emphasizes reading and saying the word aloud to help connect the written and spoken word. So how to select the spellings. The DfE National Curriculum includes guidance on the expected spellings for Year 2 and Year 3. Please use this to create a spelling list for over 40 words that will select for the intervention. 20 of these will then be used for the assessment. Each week, the learners will practice 10 new words using the spelling strategy. In the resource folder, you will find a template, as well as a tracking spreadsheet. In the tracking spreadsheet, you just label the intervention class, and then you'll be able to link an anonymized student ID to your students in your classes. Key considerations. Logistical issues need to be considered before using a targeted spelling strategy as an intervention. Is there a suitable time in the day for the delivery? If it's used for homework, will the reminders be set? If you're using the templates, can these be printed in advance? And will you link this to potentially any rewards? So logistical barriers are common in any intervention that's delivered in school, so it's just important to consider these prior to starting. So the assessment, the outcome measure is attainment as defined by a pre-post spelling test. The assessment is marked out of 20 and is the same for both the pre and the post. As both the comparison and intervention groups receive the same assessment, familiarity with this should not bias the effect. So from your original list of 40 words, you select 20, which will then act as your pre and post assessment for both groups. So final assessment guidance, complete the assessment under test conditions. Allow approximately 10 to 15 minutes for this. If you can provide an example of the word in a sentence for each spelling, and then record the pre and post assessment scores on your tracking spreadsheet and then in the What Work Teachers platform. So that's the end of your implementation guidance. The next thing to do is to download your research protocol, the resource folder, and then start your trial wizard.